Okay, I wanted to share a little personal experience to illustrate the concept of time and materials contracts and why they can be a little bit of a dangerous contract. When I first moved into this condo, I was a little bit freaky about water. Water from the tap can be quite an ordeal, as we all know if you've watched Aaron Brockovich. So I wanted to get this water filter, and I was walking around Costco and I saw this water filter, and obviously it's below the sink. And on the box it said easy to install. So I thought, well, I'm not the dimmest bulb around, so I'll just take it home and I should be able to figure this out. So I got it home and I got about as far as discovering that you had to cut a hole in your metal sink. And I thought to myself, I think that's a little bit above where I want to start going, because what if I cut the hole too big? Then I would have this big hole in my sink and I'd have to get the whole sink replaced. So because I had just moved in, I had all kinds of brochures laying around, and there was a brochure for a Mr. Handyman service, and so I went ahead and looked up the Mr. Handyman and discovered that I could invite them out to do some work around for me, and they, on their website, indicated that they only worked on a time and materials basis. Well, and they usually only work during the hours that I would actually be at work. So I started thinking to myself, and I thought, well, if I let the guy work unsupervised, then how will I know that he's actually working? He might be watching TV or laying around, and then when I get home, maybe he will have charged me for 6 or 7 hours of something that really only took an hour or so to do. So I realized that I was probably going to have to take the time off work and come home and be there while he was here, so I could monitor that he was in fact installing my beautiful water filter. And then also I thought to myself, well, I don't want him to get here and not have all the tools that he needs and those sorts of things, because once he gets here, I'm paying for him. And so I wanted to be able to have him start work right away. So being the prudent businesswoman that I am, I went online to the company that sold these water filters, and I surfed around until I found the particular handbook for the particular model that I had bought. And I went ahead and downloaded it as a PDF file, and I emailed it to the Mr. Handyman service before they assigned someone to come out. So that way the person would read the manual ahead of time and get here and know exactly what to start doing. And sure enough, it worked in my favor. When the technician person showed up, he had in fact read the manual, he had all the appropriate tools needed, and he got to work right away. And it took him only a couple of hours to install this, like two hours, whereas it could have taken conceivably 3 to 4 had he not read the manual ahead of time, or if he wouldn't have brought the appropriate tools with him. And he might, had I not been here, taken advantage of the situation and said that the install that really only actually took 2 hours took up to 6, 7, 8 hours. So that's just an example to illustrate how time and materials contracts can be a little bit dangerous if they're not properly supervised. The incentive under them is less to get the task done than it is to just simply expend time. And so that's why it's one of the least desirable types of contracts, because it does in fact require almost constant supervision. So the cost of the install wasn't just the guy doing it, it was also the time, the cost of me to take time off work and to be here to survey him and make sure that he was doing the appropriate work. So that's just a little experience to further illustrate the concept of time and materials contracts.